I pull up, roll the windows down it. I pull up, roll the windows down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, you can't replace.
It's not in the case of anybody.
That's why I spend my life with you.
Happy holidays, everyone. Be sure to head over to our website at www.h4ht.com and shop your holiday Buy Ho 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 merch, which is a limited edition holiday collection. You can use code H4HT for free shipping on all items, including the bundles, or you can use holiday sale, a single holiday mug. You can get it in winter green or Christmas red. And we also have our t-shirts and sweaters you can order today. And just to let you know, if you catch me on live, you can use the code NOWLIVE for 20% off of all items. This collection won't be available for long as it is limited edition, so take advantage of the sales today. Happy holidays, everyone. Enjoy your holidays, and remember, bye ho ho the haters away. Hi, hotties, kettles, tea stirs. You're here for hot tea. All commentary is alleged, and in my opinion, this is for entertainment purposes only.
You was wrong.
Together for our beautiful host, the one and only, Melody Cherie.
Black Business Expo.
Talk about passion out.
Almost I would expand it to
This group of mean girls talking.
You can say I'd rather not say.
Man, I want a Jeep. I just want to ride with the top down so my hair can blow in the wind. I'm like, baby, kind of don't have that much hair right now.
Don't say that.
No, this is real talk. So I'm like, as her hair is growing back, I'm like, now's the perfect time to get her a Jeep.
Yeah.
I think that's part of.
This is your man.
Yes,
Look at the screen.
that's mine. And,
And that's what you're going to settle for.
I'm gonna stick beside him.
So losing my hair was hard for me. And some of the comments were so mean in regards to I didn't look the same. I already felt like I didn't look great.
Kimmy, I'd like to give you the opportunity to respond to a headline. A sad case of a man. Love and Marriage Huntsville fans slam Maurice for demanding intimacy while Kimmy goes through chemotherapy. Kimmy, what is your response to the backlash that Maurice has been getting lately?
So here's the thing, like originally, I didn't even watch it. He told me he had an interview with Carlos, and usually I just kind of get the nuts and bolts of it. You know, he was like, well, we did this. He asked me about that and that, and I didn't do anything. And then when I finally saw stuff just kind of everywhere, I was like, oh my gosh, what did you say? I literally was like, what did you say? And so one of the comments somebody keeps screenshotting around is the fact that I said, let me go see the interview. And people were like, I don't believe she hasn't seen it. And I just got life, like we got stuff. So when I actually did see it, I told him, I said, that was disrespectful. Like the words that you chose were cruel to me. It wasn't protecting me. The irony of the conversation in itself was that if you actually watch the show, I'm the one who initiated the conversation in regards to the fact that the chemo has affected my libido. And I know that affects him and his sexual injuries. So he has never forced me to do one single thing. He has never made me. He has never implied he was going to leave me. So the headlines, in order to get likes and tags, I absolutely get it. But the words that he chose to use throughout that interview, I felt were a bad choice of words in regards to me, because it didn't protect me in the words that he chose to use to describe. Like, I think he said, bend over and take it. That's like ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculous. And I told him, I said, that was awful. The wording choice was awful.
You know, I want to jump in and say something real quick. I was horrified too with some of the language And I spoke about having a situation where it was the reverse. I had a man that had some issues. I want to ask both of you, Kimmy, I want to ask you first, do you feel the pressure? Like if I don't satisfy my man, even when I don't feel good, am I nervous? Do I feel a way about the future of my marriage? And Maurice, if you could take back what you said, would you rephrase it or do you stand on exactly what you said?
So for me, like I said, we filmed it and everything. For Kimmy, I never felt like he was going to leave me. That wasn't the case whatsoever. However, even before our chemo issue came up, we already had conversation about our sex life. We talked about our sex life before we got married. So this is like an honest statement. In Kimmy's world, I had made up in my head 7 days was the limit. Like I would never make my husband go more than 7 days. I don't care if we're angry. I don't care what's going on. That was always Kimmy's rule in her head. And so in this case, we went about 2 weeks and I was like, ugh. So it was my choice because I know that that's fulfilling for both of us. It's fulfilling for both of us. Like at the end of the day, he's not the only one missing out. I'm missing out because I don't have the same climax. I don't have the same arousal. You know what I'm saying? So I never had that conversation based on the fact that I thought he was going to leave. I know I love my husband and that is a big part of our world. I don't physically hurt. It doesn't hurt me to have sex. It doesn't do that whatsoever. It was just the arousal of the moment in the climax that is very different for me. So I'm just not getting the same fulfillment out of the sexual activity that he was.
We got it. So let's get Maurice in here. Maurice, do you think it was selfish for you to force your wife to suffer through it while she was fighting for her life? Your words.
Your words. Now, those are my words. And I'm going to own the words that I said. However, you have to take everything into full context. I didn't have knowledge of her suffering. I didn't have knowledge of her rolling over and giving it to me when she didn't want to, right? Or didn't feel the need to. At the end of the day, this is the thing. She surprised the hell out of me on television, talking about, you know what? I'm not getting it. I'm faking it. All that stuff. Like, listen, it's on national TV. So I'm like, oh, really? So you're faking it. This whole time I'm thinking that you're doing it. And it puts everything into context when you watch the television show and then you actually see the interview. Because for me to find out that she's faking it, and then for me to analyze the situation and say, it's admirable for her to do this because, number one, most people that do things for you let you know that they're doing it for you. They don't let you find out later on, oh, wow, you were actually hurting or you were going through something and you were sharing that and you were doing it for me. So, of course, I would change my words and give better context in any type of interview. However, I still think that you don't do it.
You don't think it was a little cringy to even want to have sex with her while she was going through that? And I ask that because typically if somebody's not feeling well, we don't make them cook. We don't make them wash the dishes. We may not make them take the kids to school. And all of those things are oftentimes considered a wife's duty. You didn't think it would be all right for her to forego that one duty while she was going through this?
See, this is the thing. We weren't doing it on the day she was feeling good. Unless I didn't know that either.
Interesting.
So can you, I asked you earlier, would you rephrase anything that you said? Because it seemed your wife just revealed that it was your words, right? You know how you said things, bend over and take it. I've done this many times. I've said stuff and it's like, I wish I would have said it like this. Would you rephrase anything? Would you do over? Or are you like, no, I meant it exactly.
Most definitely. Anytime my wife feels like she's not protected by whatever I do, that's my job. That's why God gave her to me, is to make sure that I have a covering and protection over her at all times. And if she feels like my words are crass, then I'll change my words. I'm not one of those people that say, man, I said what I said. Now, mind you, that's a great quote and everything else that goes around social media. I said what I said. I don't even know where that came from. But
Candy.
I'm not one of those people. It came from
Candy on the Housewives of Atlanta. She said it on one of the reasons.
But I'm not one of them. I said what I said. I said what I said. Hold on, let me say it better the next time.
So I know y'all probably been through this, and we know Martell and Melody have gone through this. The fans have been voicing their opinion about Maurice's remarks, and many of them are saying, you know, Kimmy should leave the relationship. Obviously, you're not going nowhere. But has all this scatterbutt from the fans affected you guys' relationship anyway?
I actually really don't care what people say that love me. Like, they love me one day, they hate me the next. You know, I don't really care what Kimmy says. If Kimmy says it offends her, guess what? I'll be changing. If Monster says it offends him, Jalen, any of the kids, guess what? I'll change. But
I think
it's a moment in time being on, you know, television that we have to take a lot of comments, whether we agree, don't agree. I usually take most of them with a grain of salt most of the time. However, I think Some of our fans to me just go overboard, like really for real. But in general, I felt like a lot of them were warranted that the communication, it was crass. I mean, it was crass and, non-protecting, disrespectful. A lot of those comments were on point.
And I got to say this as the woman here, and I'm sorry, I know you haven't had a chance to say anything. I still haven't heard him rephrase it in a kinder way right here on the show. I've been trying to give you the opportunity because I feel like your wife is protecting you more than you're protecting her. I feel like she's protecting your rep, and I'm like, Kimmy, I should have said it like this. I'm sorry. And it's like, I feel so bad for her. I can't imagine going through what she's going through, you saying that, and then me asking you twice if you would rephrase it, and you said, yeah, but you really haven't. It seems like it's more about you than her still, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, and you can tell me shut the fuck up if you want to. It's just my opinion,
I understand where you're coming from. And what I said is you got to get it in the context. I'm not going to rephrase. You said, would I rephrase it? Yes, I would rephrase it. But at the end of the day, we're talking about this because I've already said something, right? There's no taking it back. There's no ringing that bell. That bell's rung. That's why we're here. In the future, what I will do is I'll make sure that my wife feels protected. I don't feel any different about the situation. At the end of the day, my wife did something that most people won't do. Simply, she put her personal feelings aside. I never wanted her to do anything that was uncomfortable. I wanted her to stop working. I wanted her to put everything to the side and let's get better. So when she's doing things to find a sense of normalcy in life, guess what? I don't know, because I'm not inside of her, what makes her feel good, what doesn't make her feel good, when she's feeling good, when she's not. So at the end of the day, you know what?
Maurice, I feel that.
My effort at trying to work on, the whole decreased libido. I don't know if it's strictly a physiological thing.
This is a mental thing, Kimmy.
You can't say that.
Physically, everything works fine. Oh.
You're blaming this on a mind thing. I'm blaming this on a medication that in a textbook says can happen when you take the medication.
So how long does it take until it wears off?
Everybody's reaction to it can be different. Everybody's recovery can be different. They said for this, it could take even up to a year.
So I got a year.
I'm ready to go. You have a knack for taking the wind out my sail.
Right now, my sail's been without wind for a while.
Do you know that's not helpful?
I'm sorry.
It like borders on being an asshole. Love and is doing great. I couldn't have asked for a better partner in this journey. And in many conversations, I tell people my entire life was set up by Jesus. Like me meeting Maurice when I did, things happening during the time frame that they did, all of it for me was the plan. It was obviously, and I didn't know it at the time, but it just simply was. I even say the TV show was part of that plan, because the character that I am normally, for me to get such a life-changing diagnosis, I usually go pull away and I get it figured out in quiet by myself. But with my husband encouraging me, in all honesty, to go ahead and bring it to the show and continue forward, it's helped so many people that have literally called me and told me about, they've been putting off a mammogram. They finally went and got it because of the show. And that means the world to me. Like the world, all of the things we've gone through since June, we get a lot of good news, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be where I am, and I'm blessed to have the outcomes that I've had so far. But more than anything, helping the few people that have told me for a fact that that show helped them means so much more, so much more.
Absolutely. And that's beautiful. And I love that we get to see the Black love between you guys on this show, because yes, things happen. Yes, maybe you guys will clash, but we always love to see how strong your love story is. And I think that's very special. I think for a lot of people, there's always been this kind of thing about a reality TV curse, and we don't see any hint of that playing out with you guys at all. It's never like, oh, Kimmy and Maurice are going to break up. So my question, I guess, is how do you guys keep your relationship so strong and so sound? Because other people on reality TV, we see it happen all the time.
I think a lot of it was because we were strong before the show, and we dated a long time. Like, we didn't just know each other 4 or 5 months and get married and have to grow to know each other. So every day you do find out more about your partner, but we dated a long time. We had a lot of conversations. And so it's funny to me, even when some of the fans, y'all should have talked about it. I'm like, you think we didn't? Like, do you really think we didn't? We talked about a lot of stuff before we got married. And
there were things in my disposition and his that would cause us to bump heads often. And so we had a lot of time to work on some of the things that might cause another couple stress. You know, how you communicate with each other, how you handle situations of greater magnitude. You know, if you can't handle the little stuff, you're not going to be able to handle the big stuff. And so far, I think we do a pretty good job. There's sometimes I may snap and people are like, ooh, how she talk to him, or vice versa, because we're human. But in the time frame that we dated, we really tried to learn each other and how we can communicate and make our relationship the best thing. And I believe Jesus sent him for me. You know, a lot of people in one of my interviews asked me, you know, we've seen Maurice step up to the plate. And I said, y'all tickle me. Y'all act like y'all don't know who I married. He ain't step up to nothing. He been at the plate. He beat the plate. You know what I'm saying? And so it tickles me when people say, oh, we see him stepping up. And I knew who I married. And I had no doubt that he was gonna carry me. You know how you see that that poem about Jesus carrying the person through the footsteps. And when they looked down, they only saw one. I knew he was gonna pick me up. There was no doubt. No doubt. Y'all might have doubted. I never did. I never did.
Okay. So I would imagine that you guys had a good time filming the season.
Hey, good afternoon. Happy Monday to you guys. Well, I'm actually here to address something that's very serious. I've recently run across a blogger who's been putting false information out there, and I wanted to make sure that no one is misled by this information. First of all, my name is Maurice Jefferson Scott Sr. And if you're going to do research on a Maurice Scott, make sure that you're researching the right person. I'm Maurice Jefferson Scott. I do not have a criminal history. I've never been arrested. I don't have anything more than a citation or a traffic ticket. That's the most I have. Citations and or traffic tickets. That's the very most. Never been in handcuffs. My reputation is something that I'm very, very proud of. And I'm going to defend it. The second thing is, I think that we really need to separate some of this reality television from reality. Okay. And there's an issue that sometimes if we don't see it on reality television, then it's not real. However, I'm an active practicing lawyer. So I'm not going to play about my law license. That's another thing that I'm very proud of. It took me a lot of hard work. Graduated valedictorian in my class and passed the bar first time with flying colors. So not only am I an active practicing lawyer, I have multiple cases. And it's not just in Alabama. I have cases that are co-counseled in other jurisdictions. That's states as well. Okay. So just want to make sure that you guys understand I'm going to protect both of those. So this is one of the things that I want to encourage like bloggers to do. Do a little better research before you attach someone's name to a criminal history. It's very important that you do your homework. It's actually reckless and dangerous if you don't. Some of the allegations were extremely, extremely dangerous. Attaching my person to that criminal enterprise puts not just me at danger, because there may be other people that were involved that think that now I'm that target. So it's not just me that you might put in danger. You might also put my family in danger. So this is something that's very, very serious to me. Even further, I normally don't get on social media and go back and forth with bloggers or try to correct narratives or whatever. But sometimes when, we can't separate reality from reality television and lines that get crossed, then I'll actually step in and address this. So in closing, I'm very, very proud of my reputation. And I spoke to Carlos King earlier today. And you know what? Carlos said, maybe before you just actively just sue them, how about you give them an opportunity to retract their statement? And I'm going to go even one further, right? Because that's actually a good idea. Being in this business for as long as Carlos has been in the business, he's seen all kind of, stories and narratives and everything else. But I'm going to go one further and give you an opportunity to retract. And I want a public apology for those two situations, anyone that's speaking negatively about those two situations. I'll give you 10 days. Take the stuff down, and I want a public apology behind it because it's false information and you could have done a much better job. And it was called into question many a times on your own post. It was called into question the accuracy of the information, and you recklessly disregarded that information. You also posted it multiple times and you shared the information as if it was true. What I will tell you is this: I'm very, very serious about this, and you will find yourself on the opposite side of a lawsuit, and you'll know that not only am I an attorney, I'm a good one.
And even when I met Maurice, as a matter of fact, there was a moment when I felt like I didn't want to date Maurice. And it's funny because you were asking about dating situations, something he was used to. Part of what we both weren't used to when we dated was chasing someone, because we were used to being chased.
Absolutely.
And so that was a road speed bump for us, a big one. And I remember talking to a friend of mine and I was like, yeah, I don't have time for that. She was like, just call him. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. She was like, you gotta stop. Like at some point, you gotta give some of these people the benefit of the doubt. And like the minute I make up my mind, I'm usually like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's in friendships, I put a lot more energy. But I'm saying acquaintances, co-workers, that kind of thing, I don't usually put a lot of energy.
Right.
And I don't usually listen to a lot of reasons. Like the reason why this happened, or the reason why you did that.
You're protecting
to me.
your peace.
Yes.
At all costs.
Yes. I don't usually have a lot of leverage for that. And so in all fairness, this has really tempered me to want to hear people out in that regard, to give them a little bit more benefit, because I'm a firm believer there's a two sides to every story. Right. I'm a firm believer in that. And so I just want to live life happy and healthy. You know, that's my goal, happy and healthy. I want to vacation. I want to, grow up with our kids and see what our kids come out to be. And so I just don't want the weight of the world, like people's issues and problems. And just because you don't have coping mechanisms to help you get through your issue, it don't suddenly become my issue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And some people feel that way, but nobody really knows what happened in that marriage. That is like your perspective of what might have happened.
Right.
People have said that about us, like, oh, you don't want to be transparent. Tell me can you please tell me what I'm not being transparent about? Like, is there something that you would like for me to open up to share with you?
Right.
So you don't know what's inside of that marriage. You really don't know what's inside of that marriage. And so for you to take the stance that you could be, anybody could be where you are.
Everybody.
Right. Everybody could be where you are.
Right.
I feel like the relationship they had before this, it would have been a prime opportunity to support each other.
Right.
You know,
it kind of, and sometimes when you're trying to protect your wife or whatever, you might look at them as they're not equal, right? And the truth is, they may actually be stronger. You just don't know.
Probably.
Because you haven't given them that opportunity.
Right. Right.
But Tisha was doing all right before she met you.
Yeah.
Kimmy was doing great before I met her.
Killing,
right. So they actually can do it.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a value that we as men have because we're able to do it.
all this stuff when you're mad, and then like I don't want to say seasons. I want to 2 years later, 2 years later, like, oh, well, no, you meant it.
Right. Yeah.
You meant it. Right. And I heard it and I received it. And
trolled him a little bit on Facebook and got to know him. He was so handsome and delicious. I just like to look at him. So I asked him to come and cut my son's hair because they told me he cut hair. So then he came over in the little red Corvette. And from there, we just kind of were banter, you know, how you doing, that kind of thing. It probably took a while before he asked me to go.
When we go to this, it's not going to be all, happy-go-lucky. It's going to be about problems. Do you think that our relationship is good or bad right now?
I think our relationship could have some counseling.
So there is problem.
You think that there's no room for improvement?
I think that we're doing really good right now.
If I talk to somebody at a marriage conference, maybe they'll give me something that'll help. Do you think there's anything that I could improve on?
Do I think? Yes. Sex every day.
I think every day is excessive. And there should be a middle.
Why is
and
it
maybe
excessive?
A third person party would be able to say, Reese Scott, it's a little excessive. Your brother said it was excessive. And what's funny.
He's not in my marriage.
No, I
Weird.
understand. But what I'm saying is that it opens the door for conversation. Matter of fact, we were talking about that earlier with Tiffany. you know, in regards to y'all smashing stuff. And Lewis feeling the same way. I feel like men just never get enough. Maurice, I feel like if we had sex every single day, you still would want more sex. You know why I feel like that?
Why?
Because it happens now. We'll have sex at 6 o'clock and you're pulling my pants down at 10 o'clock and then get mad because I don't want to do it at 10 o'clock. It's never enough.
What day goes by and you're like, you know what? I just don't want to eat today.
You just want me to walk in the house and take off my clothes and get you something.
That's a quickie. Sometimes they can be a little more planned out, but sometimes they can be a little more robotic. I don't know. You know, just get to the end. This is what we can do, right? To make me more excited about this trip. Get me on the excitement board. Maybe we can do a commitment to at least 2 times a day while we're there.
No, Maurice. That's not what we're committing to.
I could get really excited about that.
I'll commit to every day. I'm not committing to twice a day yet.
2 times. It's not going to be a selfish thing. I'm not only thinking about me on this trip.
That's okay.
I see you're one, I'm going to raise you one.
I said no. I'm not
Why are you
doing
going to say no?
Because that's not what we're talking about, babe. You the one that's gonna mess up the trip.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you talk about everybody else and everybody else's problems, and you the one with the bad attitude before we even leave.
We just discussed our problem. And
No,
you just
babe,
said that
you just created a problem.
You just said that you're not willing to do something that could actually make you happy.
Because there's no middle for you. There's not enough. We talked earlier, literally 5 minutes ago, we talked about, wow, I want to have sex every day. That's what we said 5 minutes ago. So I sit here and I say, okay, while we're gone, let's do it every day. Nope, that's not enough, Kimmy. It's never enough. So now it's 2 times. So now you got a bad attitude because I agreed to every day, but then not 2 times a day. It borders on the ridiculous, okay?
Don't worry. It's all good. I'm going because you want me to go.
You just turned this whole thing into a whole negative Nancy. I guess I gotta pack my own clothes.
Scenario. The only person that could make it better was Martell. Because we're over there like, God, dog, Martell. And then
We're all like that. And this is what's weird because her scenario implies he cheated. That's the scenario. However, it just looked like WTF. Like, really? That's what we're gonna do here?
Right.
I think it's hard not to be upset in regards to your husband cheating. But I completely disagree with the way Melody put Martell on the spot. I felt poorly for him. He's coming. Maurice is still actively trying to get them to move here. Them? Kiowa, her husband, and Monster moved to Huntsville so that they all can be in the same place at one time, which by definition, we all want. However, what I don't want is the drama because, you know, Kiowa's never been nice to me. Is there a reason she has a problem with you? She said she was upset because we started dating and they weren't quite finished. I said, except you were finished. You were
She
finished.
wasn't quite finished.
And it never once came back to, I heard you say this. I heard you did this. I've never done nothing to her. But she came here so we could have a meeting. And to be honest, most of it, she acted like she didn't even know she did nothing to me. She's like, well, what'd I do? Well, how did you remember that? Oh, y'all remember all kinds of old stuff. If you're gonna hold on to old stuff. And I said, it's not old. This was last month that you were talking about me. I don't talk about her. I don't talk to her. I don't talk poorly in front of Monster. Girl, she called me all kinds of names to my husband. To my husband. Do you think that my husband isn't gonna say that to me? And most of it is because he gives her this much leash and she takes advantage of it because she knows he doesn't want to piss her off because he wants Monster. Kiowa has been disrespectful to me from the day we met. And in order for us to move forward, I think I need to feel that she's genuine. I am done with the disrespect. I absolutely feel like I deserve an apology. Appreciate you coming out here this morning with me.
that sounds like I'm being dismissed.
Sounds like I want to listen to this rain.
Yeah.
Getting your nice rain-filled morning disrupted by information that your husband has decided to ask his ex-wife and her husband to move to Huntsville is a pretty big pill to swallow. I'm hurt because I don't feel like I how I was gonna feel about this choice was the least bit taken into consideration.
I'm going through a lot right now, so it's nice to have Kimmy as a friend that I can confide in. I wish she had have kind of reached out to me back when she found out he was cheating on me, when I really, really, really needed a friend. But, you know, hey, better late than never, right?
Kimmy, I wasn't hearing from you while I was going through all of this. No, we don't talk a lot. So it didn't seem as genuine to just out and call you, like, and want to know your business.
Not necessarily you calling being in my business, but even just like, you know, hey, Mel, listen, I know you're going through something. I just want you to know that if you ever need someone to vent to, I am here and I am praying for you. You know, and that never happened. And I was a little disappointed in that. I was like, because I'm not that person.
It actually did happen. I did text you, and I said to you, I'm really sorry about what you're going through, and if I can help, then, you know, feel free.
Kimmy did reach out via a text message. And to be honest, this kind of situation is more like pick up the phone, girl, and call me. You know what I'm saying? Texting me kind of feels like you don't really care.
You know, you always kind of look like you got it all together, and that you all in your zone,
And that's the people that you have to check on. Check on your strong friends.
I apologize if that's how you felt, because I would have never thought that that's how you felt, honestly. Are you good? How are you today? Like, are you good?
Today I'm good.
So it's like a day-by-day thing. You're welcome.
When y'all came back to the lobby, we were already here. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
You know what, Kimmy, is all a blur.
So you trying not to tell me?
Actually, I don't remember as much.
Oh, my bachelor party was as clean as it could get.
I doubt that.
How are you gonna doubt it?
I doubt that, because I know him.
You're a dancer, babe. Did you
I'm
dance
not
with
sure.
girls?
Did I dance with girls? I'm not sure if I did or not.
So if a video pops up somewhere, then what's your answer gonna be like?
It's so hazy.
Hey, why you don't want to tell me?
All right. We did a little drinking by the pool. They're giving me good marital advice.
Hey, really? Can you get to the good part? This sounds really lame.
Okay, we went to the spot, to a club. People started throwing money.
At you for dancing?
Not at me. I think that they were throwing for somebody. They were celebrating something. And then everybody's throwing money, so I grabbed some and threw some with them. And then for some odd reason, people just start dancing on me.
On you?
Or with me.
I think they struggle to have a good time because they're a little lame. And in their effort to have a good time, they drank a little bit too much. And then that's when the touching begins. And that's what I think went down.
I kind of danced a little bit, I think.
Maybe you danced a lot of it. And I guarantee your video's gonna pop up about it. But that's okay. We'll see it when it pops up. If you'd rather me find out that way, then that's okay.
I did a lot of dancing last night. I did a whole lot of dancing last night. It just came out as the music came on. I was trying to resist.
He's got a different level of sex drive than you. You also have a different level of active responsibility, which cuts back on her availability to be present with you. Now, the other thing too is the more you do with her, the more you embrace her as a person and not just a partner to have sex with.
Is that it? Did he hit the nail on the head with that one?
What?
The more that I embrace you as a person and not a sexual partner, the more that I'll get sex.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. It's not the more you'll get sex. It's the more you embrace her as a person.
It's how it makes me feel. Which emotionally for women, translate into getting what you want.
Yeah.
Listen, sweetheart.
Bye, babe.
I'm gonna get better.
So you're telling her that with a deep sense of sincerity, though, right?
100%.
You catch that, the sincerity?
I feel like even when we have premarital counseling, we've had these conversations before. It sounds wonderful, and then it just doesn't quite happen.
Sex as an act of sharing the self with each other, not just giving somebody something, but it is the sharing of the self.
It should be more of like a bonding experience. Ultimately, I shouldn't look at sex as a means to an end or whatever, right? I gotta look at it more holistically as you as a person.
Sex is never just about the happy ending, right? Or the climax, or I'm ready to go to sleep afterwards. It's never just about that. There's also that you can do it again. Okay, no, it's about the connection and the bond. It's really about the connection and the bond. It's really about the connection and the bond.
Listen, it's been a long day.
This show has shown.
But one last question. Yeah. Can we also compartmentalize it? Like sometimes we want to have the bond, and other times we just want to use it as exercise, right? If we want to burn off a couple of calories.
So I'm having that like a kid. So I'm gonna give it back to you. It's rare that I have enemies. It's rare that I fall out with people. If I fall out with somebody, it's because of the other person. It's always been like that, ever.
So you're infallible.
What does that mean?
In a relationship, you're saying it's always the other person. Never you.
Damn, man, I know you're an attorney, but dude, when I say I make a statement, that means mostly, okay?
Okay, there
mostly.
hey, listen, man, I know another person that's damn near a deity. At Trisha's party. And Mel comes and sits down and, I'm so disappointed in you.
right? And she descended upon me and and convinced me to damnation. Oh my God, I'm so disappointed. Oh, my grandmother was. I'm like, hold on. What you're not about to do is go and tell this whole story in this narrative.
Yeah.
And what you're not about to do is do to me what you've done to Martell and what you've done to everybody else. You're not about to project all things that's wrong. Like to her, you're Satan in the flesh. I'm like, you're not about to make me that. Every person that's cheated in the world, Martell's him. No, I'm not the representation for that. The thing that kind of bothered me about that situation was, Mel, if you were this concerned, you'd have came directly to me.
Yeah.
You want to disparage my character going from person to person to person to person.
Did she at least call you?
No.
My conversation for Melody was more around the implications and the insinuations and those kind of things. Why would you even come to that conclusion? She said we weren't going to talk about it. I was like, huh?
Well, I think they've learned, right? Especially Martell does it a lot too. It's, you don't actually need you don't need proof when an insinuation will do. I've given Mel so much grace over years.
Oh yeah.
Because I understand that her dream wasn't to be this.
Yeah.
She's famous because of what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
I understand how important her image is to her. When she was introduced to this world that we're in right now, right? The very first date was called Don't Embarrass Me.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's been embarrassed, she's been hurt and been projecting ever since. I haven't seen Mel in a long time.
Yeah.
Real Mel.
Oh, okay.
Real Mel, right? Not projected to the world Mel, right? Protecting my image Mel.
Yeah.
I'm saying real Mel, the not hurt Mel, the one that has like this bubbly spirit of love and all. I haven't seen that Mel in a long time. What I've seen is, I can use that tactical Mel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. She turned me up with that too. That Mel killing me. It gets difficult at times. Yep. You in that moment. And yeah.
There's a common saying that hurt people hurt people. I think that Melody and Martell are going through their own, 6-year issue that they haven't gotten past. And I think that everyone else that adds anything to it is like it's just one more notch on the belt, one more issue, one more thing to deal with. So there's a hypersensitivity, I believe, amongst the group. And I think that Martell right now is hypersensitive. I believe Mel is as well. I believe that your protection is now offense, right? I think Melody's protection now is offense. And I'm saying that, Martell, guess what? You don't have to be what you've been projected to be. All of the hurt, all of the embarrassment, all the stuff that's going on, if you could let all of this stuff go. Life's way too short, bro, to hold on to all of this stuff.
I know, so now we're talking about Melody and we're talking about Marcel.
Talking about Melody, Marcel. I think Tisha, anybody that's involved.
Yeah.
I missed one. I got to carry the one. So it's 20 women's, okay? And he went to grab his phone. He wanted to show proof. And he also accused you of sleeping with his boy. I want you to be able to clear the air about that. Because he said that you slept with his homeboy, and he made it seem like it happened while you were married. I want you to have the opportunity to clear all that up.
Yeah, one thing we know about Martell is Martell's a liar. We have seen that and known that over the past 5-6 years on the show. So Martell brings out to the car to get his phone, and I'm like, hey, let's see what's on your phone. You ran out there to go get it. Let's see what's on it, because you have claimed that my husband and I have experienced something that we have not experienced. And so since you keep saying, you keep playing with the fans' mind and tell them, hey, I got proof, show your proof. At the reunion season 2, when I was like, okay, Martell, what's your proof? He's like, you know, I'm just playing. I ain't got no proof. So at this time, it's like, 6 years in, I'm like, I'm tired of it. Show what you got in your phone. You're always running off to get something, and when you come back, you don't show nothing. So I wanted him to show what he had in his phone, which, again, he didn't show anything because he does not have anything. And I've told people this over and over again. Martell is the type of person, if he had anything, he would have been released it a long time ago. He's been showing people stuff on his phone forever. Like the whole revenge porn thing, that did happen. That is a true thing that really happened. And not only have he shown people stuff in his phone of his ex-wife, he's also showed people stuff in his phone with his baby mother. Like, she needs to check on that too. He's shown the boys pictures of her dancing in the closet, shaking after he paid for some type of procedure she had. So he's known for that. So my thing is, Martell, show it. And then his thing is, he's like, well, you've been with my homeboy. I'm like, dude, that was in 2001. How is that even relevant? Like, I talked to one of his friends, which is really not his friend. It's just somebody local. That's why college girls don't fool with the local people. Keep it on campus. But it was a local guy. We fooled around in 2001, my freshman year of college. I didn't know Marcel. This was way before my marriage. We're talking about something that happened 23 years ago. And then for him to say, oh, I saw it. I'm like, really? Because
I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me
In the case of anybody.